Will say a very good morning. I don't think I've ever spoken to this man before. They'll probably tell me I have. Alan Miller, co-founder of the Together Declaration. Good. Have we spoken before, Al?
Jeremy, we spoke many years ago when I was set up the Nighttime Industry Association, and we talked about bars and clubs when you had a previous show in a different world. But yes, so we did do then a long time ago.
A previous show in a different world. God, mate. I thought that's why I don't recognise you, because you've aged. I haven't. I haven't moved my face in 15 years, obviously. Al, let's talk about something that's really, really got people going. And the reason I wanted to bring you on is yesterday, Starmer, this was yesterday's announcement, we're going to ban X. These AI Grok sexualised images are a disgrace. Elon Musk's response to that was to put a picture of Starmer in a bikini, which did make me laugh. But it didn't detract from the belief that we all feel, I hope, that children should be safe and this sort of thing is disgusting and should be banned. Now, the point that so many people were making, though, was that if you're going to do that which is right, you need to take on the high-tech companies and you need to look at other platforms, because the criticism, Stalin, is that actually this platform, X, is particularly, it criticises you an awful lot. So people were jumping up and down and saying, hold on a second, is this about free speech? Overnight, X have announced they've just restricted Grok from generating sexualised images of women and kids, so Labour will say that's a win. But there needs to be a more united response, because on the day he talked about banning X, he launched a new app on TikTok, for Christ's sake. I don't understand the man, but you know more about this. Is it about free speech? Denying it, do you think? What's your take?
I don't think it's about free speech. I do. Well, I think the issue is about free speech. I think the problem is that we've got with Keir Starmer and many that are in the cabinet and beyond, a situation where people are very, very reluctant to hear the public square on the arena. And we've seen this in a number of areas, the concerns and criticisms around both two-tier policing, but a range of other areas. And look, the idea and the discussion about protecting children, I don't think many people at all would be saying they don't want children to be protected. The question is, how is that done? And do we infantilise the whole of the British public? Do we put measures in place that mean everyone is restricted with, for instance, the necessity to have digital ID, facial recognition, and being forced all to be having to verify who we are to participate in the public square and everyday life, in order to do something which, if we're honest, may not happen anyway, because one thing is lots of young people know everything about VPNs and getting through and around tech. And then there's a bigger concern as well. Like with the Online Safety Act, these things are said, but what happens is that censorship is outsourced then to Silicon Valley with huge fines for big tech companies and huge impositions. And what we see, Jeremy, is that all sorts of events and discussions get pulled down already. So, for instance, at the Together Declaration and Association, we did a discussion about the assisted suicide bill, which is a discussion about what's going on in Parliament. YouTube pulled it down. Now, did YouTube pull it down because they were nasty censors, or did they pull it down because they were concerned people might be encouraged to go and commit suicide because that's the algorithm, so they're worried about it? Well, who knows? But the upshot is that a really important democratic debate that was happening also in Parliament, and we were discussing, got pulled down.
Can I jump in and say something to you? Is not the real argument amongst the people who know far more about these things than me? They spout free speech, but, you know, free speech works on many, many levels. If you're going to have free speech, which I think is the cornerstone of any democracy, certainly ours, you're going to have to face the fact that you might spend hours with somebody saying to you directly something that you would spend a lifetime disagreeing with. But the essence of a democracy is that you can have these debates. People are very precious when they get criticised. I've said this for years. You touched upon something that I used to do. I'm impervious, mate. I couldn't give a fat rat's backside. And I don't mean this in a nasty way. People have said anything and everything. And I cringe sometimes about people who enter the public eye and get upset. It's part of, unfortunately, society. Yes, I believe there should be controls. I'm going to throw something out that you probably think is mad. I look at this Grok thing and think about sexualised images of women and kids. I think it's disgusting. My wife and I make it our life's work to control, help, advise, guide what my kids watch. Maybe parents need to take more responsibility. Maybe this, oh, it's down to the government or it's down to education. I was brought up, Al, to believe that you should have responsibility for your kids and for yourself.
Absolutely. I think, you know, Elon Musk has done a tremendous amount to really transform what the public square is and to make it free for people to engage and to hear all sorts of ideas. And the antiseptic to terrible ideas and bad ideas is really good ideas and being illuminated. And that's the way free societies work. Because once you start trying to ban and censor and limit things, everybody gets silenced and shut down. Now, the question of the moral upbringing of young people is a really important one. And it's absolutely the case that it's really should be the responsibility of parents and families to you know, to engage with children, show them the way, and also to say there are certain things that you shouldn't be doing. Take phones away, not allowing certain phones. There's a discussion about under 16s and having phones in school, smartphones, for all sorts of reasons. I think all of those things are important discussions. But these blanket bans and these attacks on what really is the core of our society of freedom. We see around the world people fighting for these freedoms very bravely in terrible circumstances. Your last segment just showed that, for instance, in Iran. And, you know, the idea that, you know, also our leaders talk about freedom in other countries, but cannot uphold the maxim of free, open debate and discussion here, it's terrible. They've now said they're doing a U-turn on digital
Well,
ID.
I was going to say, very quickly, I haven't got a lot of time. You must welcome the fact that Starmer's done what is his 13th U-turn in 18 months.
It's fantastic news that they're saying that it's not going to be compulsory. However, there's a big but. One, login is still being pushed with 8 million directors. We've still got a situation where the Children Wellbeing Schools Bill has given a prescribed digital ID code to children. We know that facial recognition is being implemented everywhere in lots of areas. And so all of these questions, and about under 16-year-olds in Australia and what they're doing and if we should do it here, and that there's an attempt to pursue this infrastructure so that slowly, gradually, it may be the case everyone has to do it. So we're saying it together. There must be a digital bill of rights where people have an absolute right to be able to engage without having to go through verification or digital ID in any way. And that is really important, and we should all support that.
Do you know, I was sitting there listening to you thinking we've come a long way, haven't we, since the old days? You sound very intelligent, and I'm doing my best to keep up. God bless you, mate. Great to have you on. Alan Miller, great to have him on the show. Thank you very much indeed.